In this video we'll show how you can create a map layout for a list control on a UX component. So as you can see here, we have a simple UX component with a list control, and the list control here is defining a columnar layout. But list controls can have multiple layouts, and the multiple layouts can either be each layout can either be a columnar layout or a freeform layout, a Kanban layout, and now they can also be a map layout. So you can see here, if we switch from our default layout, which in this case is a columnar layout, to a map layout, then you can see that the data that is currently displayed in this list over here, so these are the 3 rows that are displayed in the list, are then shown as markers on the map over there. And you can see that this particular list happens to have a detail view. So if I move this marker to a new location, we can see that the synchronize button becomes enabled, and that's because we've basically actually gone ahead and updated the latitude and longitude for that particular row. So basically the map view is just another layout type that the list control supports. So let's go now and see how this was all set up. So we'll go back now to our list control, and you can see that for this list control we've turned on the property that the list control has multiple layouts. We've also turned on the property that says that the list control happens to have a detail view. So then when we go to the multiple layouts tab, we can see that our first layout is a columnar layout, but our second layout is a map layout. And if we open up the builder, we can see how the map layout was defined. So all of the properties in the map definition are specified by JavaScript code that runs against the data in the current list. So in other words, the lat and long value for each marker is specified by this JavaScript code over here, which returns this array of data.latitude and data.longitude, which are the latitude and longitude values for the current row. So basically this would represent the marker for the first row in the list or the second row in the list, etc. And then all of the other map properties similarly are defined via JavaScript that references data in the current row. So for example, here we've specified that the markers themselves are draggable. We've also specified that each marker has an overlay, so we've turned on true, and we've specified that the overlay size is 50 kilometers, but we could just as easily have referenced the overlay size by referencing some data in the list itself. So each row could have a different overlay size. And then finally we've specified an on-drag end event. So this is the event that fires when the user has stopped dragging the marker to a new location. And you can see that in this code over here, what we've done is we've gone and we've gotten the latitude and longitude of the position where the marker was finally dropped, and that's explained over here in the comments. And then we've gone and got a pointer to the list control, and then we've called update table row to actually make an update to the row so that the data can then be persisted with the synchronize command. So let's go ahead now and run this again. And finally I should point out that we've also picked the list selector, which is one of the predefined controls over here, which lets us choose among all of the available. So there's the list selector control, and this lets us select the active layout in the list. So by default we're going to be looking at the columnar layout over here. By default there's the columnar layout, and then when we switch to the map layout, we see the map layout over there. You can see that at this point there are no dirty rows because there's no little orange icons there. But if we switch back to the map and then move this to a different location and go back to the default, we'll see that that row is now orange because we've actually gone ahead and updated the latitude and longitude value in the list, just as if we had done this through making an update in a detail view. Thanks very much for watching.